Grass Central BYD. Another live stream here, guys. Real quick one. The reason I'm making this live stream is because I have a lot of people that are giving up on their lawns. And I'm here to tell you, do not give up on your lawn. After all the work and the chemicals and the money you spent to get that yard just right, do not give up on your lawn. Now, I know we've been having a lot of drought situations, a lot of excessive rain. A lot of people are getting surge growth because they're over fertilizing their yard. Haven't heard anything about those army worms yet, but a lot of people are just stopped because of the drought. Just because your Bermuda grass start turning brown, guys, does not mean that it's dead. Remember that. Even though we're in a drought right now, that does not mean that you give up. If you giving up, let me know in the comments if you said forget it. I'm done, BYD. I'm not doing it no more. I'm sick of it. If you are sick of your yard, guys, I'm here to tell you, do not give up. Do not give up. If you're new to this live stream, please hit and hold the like button so the algorithm will send people here and you see it. Do not give up, guys. Now, one of the things I've been seeing is the drought, especially in my area. I've seen a lot of people just stop maintaining their yard altogether. I mean, they literally just stop cutting it, or they assume that it's dead, but the grass is not dead, guys. It's going into survival mode. All right, your Bermuda grass, even though you may have fertilized it and did watering, once that drought comes, your grass is going to naturally start turning brown. Now, if you've been mowing, like I told you, to keep it low between 1 and 2 inches, I will go up 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch. But you should not be at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches. What's going to happen once that Bermuda grass goes dormant, even though it may be green on the tips, that's going to eventually drought and it's going to start to flop over. You are creating a mess for the future if you don't keep that Bermuda grass maintained at a lower height. A lot of people use the excuses. Their excuse is I don't have time to mow like that, but you do have time. You need to make time for it. Make sure you mow with a sharp blade, this and that. Now, during a complete drought, don't be out there mowing your yard, guys. It is what it is. You're going to have to let it do what it do by itself. But there are alternatives too, where you can put down Yard Mastery 7020 fertilizer. You can put down some Milorganite. You can water it more often than what you've been watering it. Now, Bermuda grass is not drought resistant. It is drought tolerant. Remember that. Drought resistant would mean that you don't have to water it at all. Me personally, I don't water my yard like everybody else. I do rely on Mother Nature. And we got 6 weeks of rain, then we got 1 week of almost 100-degree weather, and I saw that thing getting toasted out. But the rain did return, so it's starting to green back up. But you can't give up on the yard. I'm going to read some of these right here. We got Dad 213 in the house. The drought is bad where I live at in North Carolina. My grass is torched, and I'm not sure what to do. Okay, here's what you do if your Bermuda grass has been torched by the drought. If possible, I don't know if you have an irrigation system, but I would put down the Yard Mastery 7020, and I would water it in 3 or 4 times that week. The second week, 3 or 4 times. If you know a rainstorm is coming, you could put down that Yard Mastery 7020. What I would not do is put down fertilizer, high nitrogen, anything over 25%. And you're forcing nitrogen into a yard that's already going through a drought. So I wouldn't do that. The next thing you can do is just keep foot traffic off your drought-stricken yard. If you have a pet that's urinating on the yard, it's going to hurt that lawn in the long run. That's too much acid basically being urinated or left on the lawn, and it could burn the lawn. Dog turds, super long or whatever left there, they will burn the lawn. So you got to get that stuff up. If your kids are playing on that yard, you need to take them off of it. If you're parking the car in the grass, take that off the lawn, because wherever that shade is up in that car, it's just going to really be a bald spot, and it's going to take forever to recover. All right. Time your applications around when you know it's about to rain or when rain is coming. Now, a lot of people say, well, it's going to be a downpour. You got to make that call. But if a light rain is coming and you have a chance to get that 7020 or even 1776 flagship in the ground, it's going to benefit the yard. But bear in mind, dry grass, heat, and fertilizer won't go together. You have to water that stuff in. All right, that's from Av Dad. I hope that helped. Let's see, Edgar Gomez. I water 3 times a week. I mow a week at 2 inches. My lawn is doing okay. How often should I change the blade and sharpen it? You should change your blade you should have your blade sharpened between every 20, 25 hours of mowing. All right. After that, me personally, I like to replace my blade after that. Because if you got rocks, sticks, acorns, anything you're hitting, it could possibly dull out the blade at the tips and bend it. Even though sharpening is okay, I'm not a resharpen a blade 50 million times to keep using it guy. If you're looking for a great YouTube looking lawn, the guys that I know replace their blades often. So every 20, 25 hours, sharpen it. Always have a brand new blade on deck. Then use that for 20, 25 hours. Now, if you sharpen your blade, that first blade at 25 hours, then I would reduce the amount of time I would mow with it before I need to sharpen it again. So if you went 25 hours of mowing, then you sharpen that blade and put it back on. Next time, go 20 hours. And then you got to visually inspect the blade and look at the grass tips to see if it's actually being cut or ripped. All right, let's see what else we got here. Hopefully that answers your question. Jesus Morales, BYD is the Crest 21-inch more heavy. I was thinking of investing one. The commercial one is lighter than a commercial Toro 21-inch. So it's a whole lot lighter. When you put the battery in it, it's going to weigh it down. Now, the homeowner version, the Home Pro, they call it Pro Consumer version, it's lighter, and it comes with 2 smaller batteries, not the commercial batteries. That one is lighter also. I think they had one on sale for $5.99. It's normally like $9.99. It's still on sale, maybe. You can check with a Crest dealer and see if that works for you. But if you go on commercial, you got that one choice. And without the battery in it, it's a pretty light lawnmower. With the battery in, it's still pretty light. It has some weight to it, but it's not as heavy as a steel commercial 21-inch mower. All right, if you're new to the live stream, please hit the like button. That way the algorithm will help me out. What about 20 00 10 10 10? I'm not a fan of using 10 10 10. Let me tell you why. Even though a lot of people use it, that fertilizer is not made for lawns. If you take a soil test and it's telling you to put that down, then yeah, that's okay. But that would not be my primary source of fertilization. When I hear a lot of people using it and I ask them, have they tried anything else? And they always say no. I said, you need to switch to a fertilizer that has more slow release in it. Normally 10-10-10 fertilizers don't have a lot of slow. It's more fast, because if you look at the back of the bag or the front, it's going to say for bushes, trees, shrubs, it's not, and ornaments, ornamental bushes and flowers and stuff like that. But it's not specifically made for lawns unless it says that. The 20 00 is a good choice. Only thing I don't like about that right now is it doesn't have any potash in it or potassium. So if the lawn is getting stressed from the heat or insects or fungus, you have nothing to help boost the recovery time. Only thing you're doing is trying to boost the grass growth. You can't grow a fungus out of a lawn, contrary to popular beliefs. It doesn't work like that. You got to keep mowing, bagging it. Eventually, it will disappear if it's recovering, but most of the time, you cannot grow a fungus out of your yard. you have to put down some type of fungicide to help it along with all this high humidity. All right. But if your yard is healthy and you don't have, you did a soil test and it says you don't need phosphorus or potassium, that 2000 is a good choice. Now, I would recommend you find one with some slow release in it versus fast release. More slow release versus more fast release. That will work fine for your Bermuda grass, and you can stretch out the fertilizations. All right, Kenneth Months, appreciate the intel over the years, BYD. Peace and blessings, I appreciate that. Is that moose and squirrel? We had high 90s over the week in Evans, Georgia, but I double fertilized double fertilized by mistake 2-3 weeks ago. The yard is now green and lush, much better than I had last year in July. If you double fertilize that, I will tell you this, just don't add any more fertilizer right now while it's extremely hot, especially if the yard is doing good right now. Don't go excessive on the fertilization. Ralph Perez said it's worth putting down 7020 if I have weeds here. You can put the 7020 down. That's going to help feed the grass and help it repair itself from the stress or help protect it. For the weeds, you're going to either have to hand pull it or you're going to have to wait it out, because if you start applying herbicides on the yard with 90+ degree weather, especially in this summer, you will possibly get a herbicide burn on the yard. I would still fertilize as normal if I had to, but if the yard is doing great, you put the 7020 down right now. I would recommend that. Mr. Long right here in the house, the pastor, there will be rain this week. We need it bad. I checked my app and it's saying 2-3%. So that's crazy right there. Avenue Dad 213, thanks BYD. I haven't mowed in almost 2 weeks. It's not growing in this heat. Temps will remain. If your yard is not growing, you still need to go ahead and keep it watered if possible. And I'm not telling you to water it 2-3 times a week and we're in a severe drought, but you need to water it at least once a week, as much as you can, to prevent it from going into summer dormancy. Because if that Bermuda grass goes into summer dormancy, it would take 3 or 4 weeks before it can actually bounce back even with a lot of rain. You don't want that situation to happen because the roots are still active. It's just that the top growth has been signaled to stop growing and let's go into dormancy mode to protect ourselves, if that makes any sense. All right, Cedar Cross Woodworks, LLC. If I have a lot of crabgrass right now, should I spray it with dry? I wouldn't spray, like I said, with anything that's going to affect the lawn. Because even with that drive, 90+ degree weather, that's a commercial grade chemical right there, or weed control, or weed for lawn kill. It's going to affect the yard. All right. Let me see, I didn't finish reading the wait for it to die off in the fall and hope the pre-emergent will take care of it. Once these temps go down, you can start back. You got to check that bottle and see what it says. If it says 80, 85, then yeah, if it dropped down to that, you could treat. But my cutoff point for spraying any type of herbicide on the lawn during the summer, not the spring, during the summer, is 85. I stop. I hand pull as much as I can, and I just keep mowing, because you didn't work this hard to spray your yard and then you destroy it the second month of summer or the halfway point of summer, and now you're looking at burn marks all over the yard. It's best to hand pull them and just try to keep it as green as possible. That does not mean raise your mowing height to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches. If you've been mowing at 1 inch, I would raise it a quarter, maybe half an inch. If you've been mowing at 2, raise it a quarter, or half an inch, put it at 2.5. If you're at 3 inches, then I would try to stay there, but you're gonna have to mow often. The reason I'm telling you this, I'm trying to get you set up for next year, because when you have that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inch Bermuda grass, that tall grass is going to delay your green up, and it's going to start flopping over, and it's just going to be a mess. You've seen it, guys, when spring get here and you see some people's yard where it looks like waves all in it where the grass is laying over. Yeah, eventually it will green up, but it's going to be delayed because you're waiting for all that top growth. Either you're going to have to cut it off or it's going to fade away over time, but that's a slow breakdown in the spring, early spring, real slow. So you don't want to do that. All right. I'm just trying to get to some of these other questions. Yes, put down the pre-emergent whenever you can. But let me give you guys this tip right here. Make sure you hit and hold that like button, guys. That helps the channel out. If anybody wants to send a super chat, it would be greatly appreciated. The best time to start putting down pre-emergent on your yard, especially if you had poor goosegrass or something like that, a nasty weed, Dallas grass, is late summer. Around September the 15th or 20th, you need to start applying it then. Now, it's going to be debate on which pre-emergent. Some people say prodiamine, some people say dithiopyr because it's more aggressive in preventing those type of weeds. I personally would say the dithiopyr if you can get it. But if you're just at the regular big box store, Lowe's has one with dithiopyr in it, which is Sunnyland 007. The Home Depot version of Let's Go 007 has pendimethalin in it, not prodiamine. All right, that's just a tip right there. All right, we're gonna Junior Jr. Junior need to raise the price on one customer. I need advice on how to approach this. Personally, I don't. This is me now. This is me. I don't raise the price of my customer's yard in the middle of the season. What I do is try to prepare them for next season. So I'm gonna make up a scenario. If I'm charging them $60 now, all right, I will let them know that come next season, the beginning of the season, it's gonna be a price increase by $20 or whatever you want to say. What you're gonna increase your price, because you can't keep operating at a loss to please customers that are not loyal. No customers are loyal. Eventually, they either gonna die, get somebody else to do it, or you may be cutting it perfect the whole time and make a mistake, and they'll want to get rid of you just for that. So I'm not gonna say no customers, but it's rare that you find customers that are loyal to a fault. Now, I do have a few, but over the years of doing business, I've seen this. You're gonna have to raise your prices in order to compete and to upgrade your equipment. You can't keep running the same equipment especially if you're doing a lot of yards, for 5, 10, 15 years. That is junk at that point. But around that 5th year or 8th year, you're gonna have to start making advancements or upgrade your equipment. So from year to year, you may have to get, okay, this year we're getting weed eaters, stick edgers, this and that. All right, the year after that, we're gonna advance on new blowers. We're gonna check out the new technology. Everybody's going battery. I wanna see what that looks like. Make sure you go to Equipment Expo this year, 2025 in Kentucky, and you can see all these things. As far as raising the price, you gotta let them know in advance. Now, if you urgently need to do it, I wouldn't tell them next week. I would say, hey, 3 cuts from now, we gotta go up on the price. And you can tell them why, or you can just tell them, hey, inflation. All right, then your customer got to make the decision on if they're going to still let you keep servicing their yard, or if they're going to find somebody else, because everybody likes the cheap price. Cheap cuts are not great cuts. Great cuts are not cheap. Remember that. All right, hopefully that helped you, Junior. Davis, let me see, Davis, I use too much. Appreciate that, JR, for the super chat there, $5. Greatly appreciate it. Helps the channel. Guys, when people super chat, we don't take that money and go out to eat. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But that does help the channel, and it motivates us to keep giving you this great information. All right. We got to, let me see here. Davis 210 said he used too much RM23 on the patches of weed. Man, my lawn is dead spots. How do I bring it back? Here's how I would bring back dead spots, especially in the customer yard, but in your yard. You're going to have to take a rake. You got to rake that area real good. That soil that's there, you need to remove the top 1 or 2 inches. Then you need to come back with, if this Bermuda grass, come back with a sand and soil, topsoil mix and spread it in those areas. You could sprinkle down just a taste of fertilizer in there if it's not too hot, but eventually it will start to spread over. Here's your second option. Get you a pro plugger and find good spots in the yard that's maybe in the back of sight unseen. Come to the front, take that pro plugger, pull that spot up as much as you can. Take the new plug, make sure you put some topsoil and all that stuff down in there so the roots will start growing into it. Put it there, water it real good, and it should fill that dead spot in. All right, now if you got a lot of that, then I would do the sand method because I don't want to go through all of that pro plugging. But if it's your own yard, you can do what you want to do. Experiment with these things and see how it works because everybody's yard is different. All right, that was Davis 210. Remember, the super chat is available, guys. If you want to help the channel out, we do appreciate that. Let's see, Doghouse Lawn Care. I love that name. You must be from Georgia. Jealous of all you Bermuda guys. Guess he's not. We have tall fescue here in Tennessee. Is burnt up till fall. That's the only thing that I don't really like about that fescue. Well, I don't like fescue, period, because of those situations. Because you're gonna have to end up reseeding all that stuff. My girl, what's her name? Girls Lawn, PJ from Girls Lawn. I think she showed her yard in Virginia with that tall fescue, and it's frying out. It's frying out. So that's just the consequences of owning fescue. All right, let's see here. Jesus Jones, BYD, you ever use your oscillating sprinkler or 99%, let's see, or 99% always rely on Mother. I rely on Mother Nature. I'm going to make a video about that, using that sprinkler, but I rely on Mother Nature. Let me tell you why, man. With this economy, to water my yard, and at the end of the month, I will have a $350 to $500 water bill. I'm just going to be real with you. As much as you might think I got it going on, I can't keep paying that type of income out, hard-on income on grass that I know that's going to bounce back. Now, the fescue guys, you may have to water the crap out your yard because if you don't, it's not bouncing back. I don't even think that lateral spread fescue is any good in these situations. But I rely on Mother Nature. I time my fertilizations in insect control and milorganite. Just put some down with the weather. So I put that milorganite down. We got 3 days of rain. It was on and off, but 3 days of rain. And the smell is not as bad. It was a little funky there for them first 3 days, but it kind of faded away, and the yard has bounced back. It has bounced back. All right. That was from Jesus Jones. As I said in school one day when I was reading this book, I said, Jesus Jones. I said, Jesus? Why they got Jesus in here? What the? And the teacher said, no, that's Jesus, Mr. Bowman. I said, oh, okay. I didn't know at the time. All right. Thank you right here. Super Chat is available, guys. We did have one donation of $5 if you want to help the channel out. Guys, $5, $10, it'll help, guys. Believe me, it goes a long way. It motivates me to make these videos and keep putting out this free information for you guys. My yard has bald spots. Why? It could be anything. Could be you sprayed too much herbicide on weeds in that area and it burnt all the weed and grass up. Could be that you have an unleveled yard and all the water is settling in your low spots and it's drowning the roots. Could be you had a fungus there and didn't realize it and it ate the grass up there. Could be that your yard is bumping and you're mowing and scalping in these spots over and over and over and the grass just can't fix itself. Could be that you're not using the correct fertilizer to help the grass grow at a good rate to fill in those bald spots. Bermuda grass spreads to these areas. Could be that the ground is too compacted there, so you can't get that Bermuda grass to either run across it or use rhizomes and come up on the bottom. It could be multiple situations, but you got to figure out which one. Even with that information you gave me, I can't diagnose it like that. I can only give you what it could be. All right, let's see. That was from green with a flower beside it. I found applying Celsius in the evening when it cools down lowers the chance of herbicide. That is true on warm season grass right there. So you could try that. The reason y'all don't really never hear me talk about Celsius because it's more of a high-end product, even though they sell the little packets now for like, I think $20 or $40. But most people won't get that Celsius application correct and they'll end up burning the yard. Moose and Squirrel said that I had summer dormancy last July, but per my note above, much better this year. Yeah, please, that's why I said, guys, you got to keep some water on it because once it goes into summer dormancy, it's a wrap, guys. It's a wrap. Bermuda grass, we don't have all year long. We got really a good 4 to 6 months to shine. After that, you in trouble. Summer dormancy, you in trouble. Austin, Texas here, Bermuda grass is 75% weeds. Just put down weed killer, which I have known not to put it down. Yeah, unfortunately, you're about to have a situation on your hand. That's one reason why I don't treat people yards for weeds in the summertime, because even if they, especially if they got a lot of them, because when the weeds gonna die, but you are going to have some bald, patchy spots all over the yard. The good news is if it's Bermuda grass, it's going to rebound, but it may take longer. Hopefully you put down some fertilizer along with that to help boost the grass. If you just put weed kill down up for lawns, it's gonna scorch it. I hate to say it. BYD, my man, hope your Sunday was blessed. Yeah, today we celebrated 30 years of marriage. Actually knew my wife for 36 years, 6 years, then we got married. High school sweetheart, or as people say, I robbed the cradle. But yeah, 30 years, went out to eat, had a good time. Appreciate that. That was from Jeremy from the Green Lawn. Go check out his channel right there. You can click on his avatar and go give him a visit. Let me see. When the grass is mowed, the snakes will show. No, that's actually opposite. If you letting it get tall, then yeah. But if you keep your grass mowed at a decent height and you put down pesticides or whatever you need to, you won't have snakes like that unless you live in an area where snakes are prone to be. Now, they do have that snake away stuff. I never used it. Heard that it does work. Some people said it doesn't. I don't know. But generally, if you keep your yard mowed, you won't have that. Now, if you're going into high grass and it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches, that could be an issue. Let's see here. What is the difference between crabgrass and Dallas grass? Crabgrass can be killed with quinclorac. If it's a mature crabgrass, then you might need quinclorac 75 DF, which is stronger, and you can run it away. Crabgrass itself never comes back. You'll never see crabgrass come back to your lawn. The issue is the seeds with crabgrass will regerminate, so you got to have a good pre-emergent program going on to stop that. Dallas grass is like the hardest weed to kill. Not only does the grass come back, the plant itself, the seeds will regerminate and it will just keep spreading. Now, I do have videos on it, a couple of videos. You got to go check them out on what we on YouTube? On YouTube, just look up Bermuda Grass Central and Dallas Grass. Watch those videos. The companies do have stuff that can work, but I will tell you this: I don't see any company treating crabgrass right now. Not crabgrass, Dallas grass. Period. If you got it now, you got it. You just gonna have to keep bagging that stuff up to keep the seeds from falling back into the yard. But if you're mowing on a consistent basis, you can kind of help prevent some of that stuff from going back into the soil. But a lot of people just don't mow like they should. Guys, if you're new to the live stream, please hit and hold that like button. The more likes you give me, the more I want to keep doing stuff like this. All right. We got another question here from White Mazda. What to do to a Bermuda grass lawn in El Paso to make it super green and thick? You're gonna have to put down the proper fertilizer. you're going to have to mow at least 2 times a week. If it's a weedy lawn, you're going to have to keep bagging it. If you don't have weeds in it, keep mowing. The key to a thick lawn is to keep mowing, Bermuda grass, is to keep mowing consistently at least 2 times a week. In our case, my yard gets mowed every day by the robot mower. All right, but at least 2 times a week. Keep the nitrogen count kind of low. You don't want to start going over 25% because you'll have surge growth if you're getting a lot of rain. That surge growth can jump it from 2 inches to 3 inches. And the 1/3 rule does not, I want to make sure y'all share this. All right, I'm gonna say it so I can use it as a short. The 1/3 rule does not apply to Bermuda grass. It's the 1/4 rule. You only want to take off 25% of that leaf blade, and you got to keep mowing. If you have a green Bermuda grass, in rare occasions, it will stay completely green after you take off from 3 inches to 2 inches. But most of that lawn will start to have a little brown haze on it because you took off too much leaf surface. The issue is you are not mowing enough. You gotta mow Bermuda grass between 2 and 3 times a week to keep that low height and to keep that greenness. Now, every time you mow, you may take a little bit of green off, but it will come back as long as the grass is hydrated. All right, pause there. All right, that's gonna make a good short right there, guys. Let's see. We got, guys, if you're new to this live stream, please hit and hold that like button. You have to hit and hold the like button. Tap it 15, 20 times. I don't care. I need to see some hearts coming up the side of the page. We got 93 people in the chat and nobody's hitting the like button. That's not good. And that way the algorithm will send more people this way. Guys, if I am helping you and I'm giving you valuable information, it's imperative that you hit that like button and you share this video and comment. All right. If you want to do a super chat, I would greatly appreciate that, guys. We already had one guy to do it. Junior, JR Junior has already done it. I really do appreciate that. If he answers you, the man is, yeah, don't be cheap, people. You heard him. Help us out. A lot of people want stuff for free. I don't mind giving it for free, but you don't go to your job and work for free, do you? You expect to get paid. I don't expect to get paid, but help the channel out by hitting that like button and doing super chats. Let's see, we got West. That's the name. How long will it take Bermuda to recover from summer burn? It depends on how you making it recover. Are you watering it every other day? Are you out there pulling the crabgrass, the remainder crabgrass up by hand? Have you put some topsoil or something in that area to help it recover and spread over that area? Are you mowing and bagging like you should? Is that ground compacted where it burned? Because if it is, you're going to have to stick a screwdriver or something or a little mini core aerator and pull up plugs to get that water and air into it. So it could be a week. It could be 3 weeks. The more severe it is, the longer it's going to take to recover. All right. That was from West. All right. We got one from Duran. Let's see, it is so hot here in Mississippi. Certain parts of my lawn are turning brown. I don't know if it's turning brown from the heat or it's both. It could be both. If you're getting rain and it's hot and humid, it could be turning lawn fungus brown. Or if it's turning from the heat stress, the grass will be thinning in those areas a whole lot faster. Now, what you can do, I'm going to give you a scenario. If you got 4 or 5 of those spots, you got to take the water hose with the little hand squeeze thing, come out like that, and you just got to stand on those spots. You can use hydrotain also, but the ground has to be moist before you start applying hydrotain and watering it in. You can't just go skeet hydrotain on a dry lawn and think it's going to work, because you spray it on the dry lawn and walk away, it's going to burn the leaves. All right, so get your water hose later in the afternoon when the water is going to be cooler coming through that water hose. Just stand on those spots, man, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Just move around the yard. If you're trying to keep those from crisping out. If it's a lawn fungus, with all this heat, lack of rain, I would probably do the granular instead of the liquid, but you got to water the granular in order for it to work. Reason I don't suggest liquid in super hot weather is because if you leave it there along with anything, it could possibly cause a herbicide burn. All right, that question was from Darren from Mississippi. Guys, if you're new to the live stream, hold the like button. Super chat is now available. We did have JR Jr. to send us a $5 tip there. We do appreciate that, Junior. Let's see here. We got, I'm trying to pronounce it, Dioctavian. What is a good seed that will grow in the shade? The good seed that will grow in the shade is the annual ryegrass or the perennial ryegrass. Those two in particular. I personally, I'm not gonna say I don't suggest mixing that, because once you do, that's gonna have to always be there. Perennial will supposedly come back. Ryegrass, annual ryegrass is just a one-time hit. Now, just bear in mind, when you do that in those spots, sometimes they will attract weeds. Weed seeds tend to settle in that for some reason, and that ryegrass is just not a weed preventer. But those two will. You can do tall fescue, but once tall fescue gets that heat on it, it's going to fry out. All right, hopefully that answered your question right there. I never use Turf Titan products. I've been to a couple of trade shows where I've seen it. I'm a granular guy in particular. It's rare that I use any liquids on my yard except for water. I don't use none of that stuff. I keep it simple. I use the granular, but the reason I like the Yard Mastery a little bit better is because it has the other stuff in it, the micronutrients, sulfur, all that, boron, all that other stuff that you don't get in the regular fertilizer. So I rely on that and Mother Nature. I haven't heard any negative things about Turf Titan. I actually seen it being sold in Walmart. All right. Thank you to Dante Thomas said thank you. I'm assuming that's from the, what you call them. Guys, if you got questions down here, like I said, it's going to take me a minute to get to them because I'm just scrolling up one at a time. Let's see here. Do you ever come by Augusta, Georgia? No. I've been there maybe a couple of times, but it's rare. I did go there for, what did I go to Augusta for? Well, I think I went to Buc-ee's or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it's rare that I go that way. Jack Everson, I got a lot of weeds in Iowa. When should I spray it? When temps drop below 90 degrees, then you should be able to treat those weeds. Don't know if it get that hot in Iowa like it does here in Georgia, but Georgia, you stand outside too long, you may catch on fire. All right, we got Juan Pablo. My friend and I put some Bermuda seeds 4 months ago. It's the Golden Globe Bermuda from Scott's. It only grows up, never spreads out. I mow 2 times a week, fertilizer, water. Consistently, I am from Florida. I have issues with Bermuda grass only growing one way because that's not true Bermuda grass. That's just a Band-Aid on a problem, but that doesn't fix the problem. I think that's going to be temporary over a period of time because Bermuda grass will spread. That's maybe some new hybrid seed that they're trying to sell to get people to buy more of it. But if it's working, let it do what it do. Jesus Jones says MSMA every 7 to 10 days for 4 to 6 weeks will work on Dallas grass on your golf course right away. It's not allowed. Yeah, this is not something that's done for residential lawns. I known that. That's why I never really mention it, but it does work. All right, just like Target 6 Plus, that's for not fairways. What they call them? Oh man, like where the side of the road, all that Dallas grass and crabgrass is grown. And then you don't need a license to buy it, but you're supposed to have a license to use it because you can get it off of Amazon all day unless they removed it. I'm not sure. I'm talking about the Target 6 Plus. The MSMA, you can get it other places, but I don't talk about that. Let's see here. Avdad, it is difficult to transition from fescue. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. You can't transition from fescue to Bermuda. You gotta make a choice. You kill off all that Bermuda grass, excuse me, kill off all that fescue grass and start over with Bermuda. But to throw Bermuda seeds down in that and thinking it's gonna overrun it, that's a no-win situation. That thing was called Blue Muta, or whatever it's calling it back in the day. And I think people who tried that having issues with their lawn. It may be an anomaly saying that, oh, it worked perfect. It worked perfect. But no, you either gonna have Bermuda or you gonna have fescue. If you stay in the South, you need to stick with Bermuda grass. If you stay in a transition zone and up north, you might be able to get away with Bermuda up there, but you're more or less likely to have better success with the tall, fine fescues or whatever. All right. Durham says, thanks for the information. Mac Douglas. Okay, I am not even a fan of fescue in a transition zone because it can burn in the summer, unless it is a special type. True that. Jack Evans, thank you, sir. It is 90 degrees here. I'll wait. Can I aerate in the fall when there's weeds in the lawn? You can't aerate when you got weeds in your yard in the fall and overseed. But this is the way I feel. Get rid of the weeds first, because you're creating a situation where you're gonna have that tall fescue and then you're gonna have more and more weeds because you aerated your yard, all those openings in the ground, and you got weeds with seeds on them that's gonna fall down in the hole, and years after year after year, you're gonna keep getting the same results. Get rid of those weeds first. That's always been what I tell anybody. Even when they see me fighting weeds late fall or something, they say, oh, they're gonna die off. They may, but still treat them. Crabgrass, oh, you don't have to treat it because midsummer it's gonna start turning purple and dying off. Treat those weeds. Get them out of your yard as fast as you can. I'm trying to think of another weed that dies off with the weather. I can't think of any right now, but treat the weeds. Get rid of the weeds before you start trying to grow fresh new grass. Big Red here, CS3. I don't know what that is. He said, that's a true fact. I put down yard master fertilizer and my Bermuda grass is spreading. There you go. Rich M, BYD, shout out from the fall. Want to ask you if Bermuda can blend in with St. Augustine. I would not do it. I would not blend Bermuda with any other grass except for the grass itself. When you start mixing those grasses, you got St. Augustine that wants to be cut at 3 inches or 4 in the summer. You got Bermuda grass that's technically supposed to be cut between 1 and 2 inches. All right, unless you're using a reel more, then you're going below the 1 inch. All right, if you got a bumpy lawn, then you're at 3 inches. But you got two different types of grass fighting each other, trying to get the nutrients, and it's gonna look messy. It's gonna be a mud lawn. It might look good from a distance, but when you stand up on top of it, that's not a visual sight that I would like to see. Because I'm a Bermuda guy. You gonna either, like I told the other guy, choose. You either Bermuda, St. Augustine. Yeah, they might be both warm season, but you gotta choose one. If you're in Florida, you may have wild Bermuda grass growing in it, but that St. Augustine is so freaking thick that Bermuda grass is not going to overrun St. Augustine on a healthy lawn. All right, that was from, was that from Rich? Yep. R. Reed, Stone Mountain Heat has my tip sport struggling. Yes, Stone Mountain is, oh my God. That's a magnet for heat. That is it, man. That's been years since I've been there, but we went walking and my shoes they ran away from me. It was so hot on that mountain. Oh my God. I don't see how you do it. But yeah, that's a hot box, man. Any suggestions about the sun bouncing off the windows? No, I got a spot in my backyard that does the same thing. Here's a couple of fixes that I found that temporarily work. You could put tint on those windows. They have window tint for houses, indoor window tint. Not on the outside, on the inside, that can help keep that heat, that sun from burning down, turns to a magnifying glasses and it scorches the grass, even scorches the soil. Now you can get a good soil mix like, let me see, Scott's topsoil. That's one of the premium brands. People say, oh, it got sticks and stuff in it. That's just mulch that's gonna break down. You can put it in those spots and a little sand, and the Bermuda grass will kind of fix itself. That's already been torched. Or you can get turf paint and paint those areas, not the yard, just paint those areas that's been scorched, from a distance. Nobody will be able to tell. You might be able to tell, but that's going to help cover it up. There, or either bust all your windows so you don't have that issue. But that's something that you're gonna have. It's just gonna keep happening. It's those are the only fixes that I know of. All right, I don't try to shortcut it or lie to you. Go put down some heavy potash. No, no, no. The sun is the sun. It's gonna burn. I mean, it is what it is. All right. So hopefully that helped. Let's see here. Sugar Hack 74. Is that what that is? Guys, if you're new to the live stream, please hit and hold the like button. All right. If you want to do a super chat, it's greatly appreciated. 102 people in the chat and nobody's hitting the like button. That's not good. That's not good. Is it too late to aerate Bermuda lawn? No, it's not too late to aerate your Bermuda lawn. And let me tell you why. Let me get a sip of this cognac right here. If you aerate your Bermuda grass, you need to make sure that the soil can take the core aeration and pull out those plugs. If you do it and we go into a semi-drought and it's raining every now and then, you're getting more water, nutrients, and fertilizer into the soil. Now, depending on the height you got it at, if you got it at 1 inch, I don't know if you want to get those plugs up or you want to just keep mowing. You have to make that decision. But that's one of the things that you can do in the summertime. Now, around midsummer, I don't think I would do it. I would stop. And it's going to depend on your area, on how early fall comes. Fall comes when it comes, but some areas the temperatures grass go dormant faster, all that stuff. If you have a lot of weeds in your yard, do not core aerate your yard, because all you're doing is introducing weed seeds into the grass. Don't do that. All right, guys, remember, don't quit. That's what we're talking about. I'm just giving out tips to help you maintain that Bermuda grass while we're going through this stuff right here. It is easy. Is it easy to distinguish quack grass and nut sedge? I already know what nut sedge is. Quack grass does not look like nut sedge, but you need to type that in, what does quack grass actually look like. Sedgehammer will work on nut sedge, but I don't think it's going to work on quack grass. Is it too late? I already answered that question. Oh, yeah, I know you mentioned that not to spray herbicides in the summer. When do you treat your yard for weeds? You treat your yard for weeds in the fall and in the beginning of the spring. All right. You have to get on them ASAP. Fall, even though some of these weeds will start to die off, I still treat them. You got to get down to the root, because if the root is left there on some of these weeds, it's coming back. So you start in the fall. You start late summer with your first application of pre-emergent if you have a yard that's just full of weeds. I'm not making this up, guys. When you go to the store, you can see it on some of these product labels. It will tell you, apply late summer. All right, most people don't understand that, but you got to get that pre-emergent in the ground to start preventing weeds for next season. All right. That's from was that Big Red? Did you ask? I think Big Red. Dallas King 79. I agree. Crabgrass, try to pick its minions before they seed. Exactly. Pour, same way. That's the best time to put down pre-emergent. It's late summer to get a jump on that pour. All right, early February, end of March, early February is another time to put it down to try to prevent pour. Pour are seeds that will fall in your yard and they will last anywhere from 3, 4, 5 years in the soil before they actually germinate. The rain is going to dictate how far they go down in the ground. We have a heavy rain season, you got a lot of pour, you'll see that pour again 3 years from now. And it'll be coming up in batches everywhere, and you'll be trying to figure it out. Pour sometimes take longer to get out the yard. What kills pour? They got the regular image herbicide that you can buy at the store, or some people use, what's the other one? Is it Certainty? I think it's that. Negate 38 DF, I think it is. And it's one more, I can't think of the name of it. But pour is a nasty one. You have to react early to get that thing from going. All right, we got Dallas King. Healthy grass will help choke out weeds. The Bermuda will not allow St. Augustine to grow and root properly. Here's my thought on that. A healthy lawn will help. I'm glad you said that, but healthy grass will not prevent weeds from growing. You will have fewer weeds, but some people have gotten it mistaken that I'm not going to use any herbicides to get rid of these weeds. I'm just going to try to keep my yard healthy and choke them out. You can do that, but you need to go around and pull all those weeds out. Now, pulling weeds out, you're not getting to the root. You're breaking the root, and that weed will come back. That's why liquid herbicides and pre-emergent will help prevent that stuff. If you're new to the live stream, guys, I need you to hit and hold the like button. We got 93 people in the live stream, and y'all got tired on me. Hit that like button. Hit it. Go right now. I need to see some hearts skeeting up the side of the page so I can know if you're still woke. Because once it get around this time, even the little moon thing showed up on my phone up here. It's getting late. There you go right there, guys. Please hit and hold that like button, smiley faces, whatever other emoji they got down there, pizzas, balloons, I don't care. Just hit it. All right. Can you treat weeds in the summer as long as it's not? Yeah. If temps are 85 and below, you could treat those weeds. Most of these things were said on the product label that don't treat weeds when it's 90 degrees plus. All right, they used to say 95, now they reduced it down to 90 because I found over the years of doing that crap, you are burning that lawn. All right, the Bevo guy, last 3 years here in DFW area, let me see, I have done nothing but use sprinklers and cut my grass. Crab, Dallas grass has spread more and more each year. When and how should I get? You should start to get rid of them in the late fall, start. Even some cases in the wintertime, if it's not too cold, then early spring, you got to do something. If you've been going 3 years and you hadn't done anything, it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse because the only thing you're doing is recirculating those seeds back into your yard. Pre-emergent and post-emergent are your friends. Remember that. Guys, if you're new to the live stream, please hit and hold that like button. A lot of you are doing it right now. I really do appreciate that. But the more you do it, 93 people in the live stream, the more people will get this notification on this vertical live stream. It's rare that I do a horizontal because they don't pull numbers like the vertical do now. All right. Thanks for your suggestion, BYD. Ron sent me over here. Tell Ron I said thumbs up. He thought you had some issues with the sun bouncing off your window too. Yeah. Matter of fact, if you follow me on my Instagram, or I might take a picture of it because I was finna do a video today about that, but I'll take some pictures and post them in the community tab here and let you see exactly what I'm talking about. Ronald Martin, you won't catch on fire because you'll be soaking wet from the heat. Got that right. Let's see, is it too late to reset my height of cut from 2 inches to 1.5? That's not really a reset. You know, a reset is when you take it to the white meat and you start over. But to go from 2 to 1.5, if you once you get it to 1.5, here's my advice. You need to mow that yard at least 3 times or 4 times a week to keep it at that height, because if you knock it down to 1.5, which is not much, it's going to still try to grow. My robot mower mows every day, and it still is cutting grass because the grass is growing like that. All right, what is a good pre-emergent to apply late summer? The one that has dithiopyr in it is probably going to be your best choice. So guys, make sure you're hitting and hold that like button. It's going to be your best choice because it's going to have more of a preventative measure to kind of keep poa and what's the other one? Goosegrass and Dallas grass seeds at bay. Now read the labeling because it's going to say most likely on there, if you have Dallas grass, goosegrass, poa, you need to apply at this rate. If you got these weeds, apply at this rate. So you got to know what weeds are in your yard. But late summer, September 15th, 20th, right before we finna go into fall, that's the best time. Okay, would you consider late summer, end of August? No. Summer ends, when does fall end? Fall starts, I don't know, September 30th, something like that. Don't go late into August. That's even though it's hot, we're gonna be, somebody look that up and tell me when does fall start. But I would not wait to the end of August to be putting down any pre-emergent. I would do it September 15th or 20th. Let's see. Spectacle flow is supposed to work well. Spectacle flow does work well. The only reason I don't issue it because it's too expensive. Too expensive. It does work. I don't know the active ingredients. I hadn't studied it like that, but I've seen people who use it that get great results, but at the same time, they still get some poa. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, you're new to the live stream, please hit and hold that like button. A lot of people are doing it. 95 people in the live stream, and we do have quite a few people hitting that like button. I do appreciate that. Guys, if you want to send a super chat, I am open to it, guys. Super chats could be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, whatever you want to send to help the channel out. I do appreciate it. I'm not here begging for money. I just want you to know there's an option if you want to help support the channel and what we do. All right, still got a lot of weeds coming back in after treating months ago. Only thing I can tell you is don't quit. Do not quit. Keep working on those weeds, but if it's 90 plus degree weather, then you're going to have to kind of sit this out until the temps drop back, or you're going to have to go out there and hand pull them. You can treat some of these weeds, spot treat a little bit of them, not late at night, but in the afternoon. But just note that you will possibly have a herbicide burn on your yard when doing that. All right, Jack Everson, you ever worried or thought about health effects from handling chemicals, even with PPE? Yeah, I think about it all the time, but I'm just going to be real with you. A race car driver thinks about death a little bit. He only really gets concerned once he has kids. If you're trying to get that type of lawn, it's just something you're going to have to deal with. And I'm not here to talk about the dangers of chemicals. We all know that. It's the risk you take when you're trying to get yards like this. So my advice, read the label. If you're fearful of catching something, don't use it. It is what it is. I show you what I use. That's why I don't use as many chemicals. That's why I told you I really stick with the granulars, not all those liquids and stuff like that. Maybe spot treat some weeds, this and that, but that's part of the risk when you are doing this for a living, or you're a YouTuber or an influencer, or if you have the best looking yard on the block. All right, a lot of people who have those great looking yards on the block, either they use the chemicals or they got the company coming out and doing it. Now, if you're that fearful, hire a company and let them work their magic and let them take all the risk. But it is what it is. It's part of the risk. I did get another super chat from R. Reed, $5. I do appreciate that guy right there. Like I said, guys, you can help with the cause too, guys. Only $5, $10, just super chat. If I am helping you get a better yard, if I'm giving you information no one else is giving you, if I'm answering all of your questions for free, those super chats help support the channel. And bear in mind, guys, I'll tell you this. When we do get super chats, we don't get all that. YouTube takes 40% of that money. Literally, because it's their platform. They take 40% off the rip before you even see it. But it does help, guys. 75 people in the live stream. A lot of people are hitting that like button. I do appreciate that right there. We got another question here from Jesus Jones, or should I say Jesus Jones. It's still 95 plus degrees sometimes in September where I live, so I don't put pre-emergent out until late October. Put the pre-emergent down in late September, because that's even though it says that, how can I say it? Temps that high, it won't be such effective or this and that. I still get it in the soil because you can't predict day-to-day temperatures. All right. So either you do it at a lower rate to get it in the ground, or you do it at the regular rate to help prevent midweeds, or you do it at the higher rate to help prevent some of those weeds that just are tough to get rid of. All right. But that is a good thing you said right there, that it's that hot in September. Thoughts on getting rid of spurge weeds. Here's the first thing you do right now while you got these high temps. Use your hand and pull them out the ground. It's just that simple. Use your hand and pull them out the ground. You can spot treat them at night, depending on what weed formula you use. If you use the regular Spectricide 470 that I always recommend, you may need 2 applications of that stuff at least 15 to 30 days apart, so you won't be scorching the grass in that spot. But hand removal is the best until temps drop. All right, let's see here. Just pre-germinated some seeds and threw them down in the summer. What's your take on pre-germinating? That's like, let's see. That's something that people do. If it works, it works. But if you have hard clay soil like I got, that's not gonna work real good. That's like having, let me see, you get the sperm and the egg, and you get a baby up to 4 months, then you're gonna try to insert it in the womb. It may be successful, but you're gonna have some issues along the way. Because when you buy those seeds, they have a coating on them that's supposed to help protect it while it's on the ground, and some fertilizer on it also to help it germinate in the soil. All right. Generally, the seeds won't, if you pre-germinate the seeds and the roots are showing, you're going to have some success, but I don't know how successful that's going to be over an extended period of time, or where you have to use more seeds than you normally needed, because you're trying to get the seed to react faster in the soil. So that's going to have to be something that you study yourself. It's not going to be the same for everybody. I don't recommend it because I never done it. I've only seen people do it and heard the results. So that's how I feel about that. Bevo guy said, thank you. So fall began September 22nd. All right. So late summer is what I said, the 15th or the 20th. That's right before fall gets here. You put it down. June, July, August. Wait a minute. August, my fault. It's before August, September. So August, oh, I forgot why I said that. August normally is still hot. That's why I wouldn't really recommend the pre-emergent that early. But one guy said in September, they still get 95-degree weather. So I wouldn't do it in August. I would do it more in September, if that makes sense. Thanks, BYD. Love the channel. Appreciate that, Avenue Dad. And thanks, R. Reed, for that super chat. JR Jr., y'all gave one. All right. All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, guys. Let's see. Junior, BYD, tell Mrs. BYD I planted my sunshine ligustrum. Thanks for her idea. All right, I'll let her know. Because it wasn't my idea. Is there a weed killer that's safe to use with seeds. They have them. I don't know which one it is, but I don't recommend you putting seeds down and spraying and trying to kill weeds at the same time. Once again, I'm going to repeat myself. Tackle the weeds first. Then worry about overseeding, because you're still going to have herbicide residual in the soil when you're trying to kill weeds. And some of that herbicide residual needs to be out of the sod or soil before you start. Any tips on removing stone yard with, I don't get that. Any tips on removing stone yard with sod? I'm not explaining that. All right. I'm not understanding that question. BYD, put down my Memorial Night on my Bermuda grass. Put down my Memorial. Now, am I reading this stuff wrong? Somebody put thanks down there. All right. Guys, I'm going to take a couple more questions and we're going to call it a day here. Don't leave until I actually sign off. Don't fade away, because the algorithm will see y'all drop off and think that I said something negative, and it'll go and watch this whole video looking for cuss words or something like that. And then it'll diminish the reach of this video. I literally went out today and hand removed weeds in my front yard. Way to go. How many days should you fertilize your Bermuda grass? How many days? Your Bermuda grass is needs to be fertilized depending on the results you're getting from the fertilizer you're using. Remember, don't give up. But if you're using fertilizer and you see that it says on the product label, this product will last 45 days to 60 days. Day 45, you start looking at that yard. If it's still looking good, then there's no need for you to do that. You could fertilize when you need to, but I would say here's the basic. Once in the spring, mid-spring, when the grasses start turning green, once in the summer, before you get a major drought, once in the fall, either early or mid-fall, that will suffice for the average person. Anybody else who's trying to get a better looking yard, 4 or 5 times. If you're using milorganite in between, that's another offset of you using straight synthetic type fertilizers versus milorganite, which used to be considered organic, but it's not anymore. All right, if you had to choose for fertilization to produce the very best results, I would use both milorganite and yard mastery. I would use yard mastery, get it going, maybe 2 or 4 weeks after I use the yard mastery, come back with the milorganite. Now, you can apply it at the rate that they say, 2,500 per 1,000 square feet or 5,200 per 1,000 square feet if you stay in Florida because of the nitrogen restrictions. Or you can just use one bag and cover 5,000 square feet because the yard mastery has something similar to a biosolid in it. All right. Do you use the yard mastery calendar? No, I don't necessarily go by. I use it as a guide because I eyeball my yard for what I'm going to put down. So I'm not going to be putting yard mastery down every month or every 45 days when I'm using milorganite. Now, having said that, some people say, well, I saw your video, you did this and that. Those videos are for informational purposes only. And sometimes I even tell you, hey, you don't have to keep using this much fertilizer. Use the calendar as a guide. All right. Let's see, the dude 191, another. How do you feel about stabilized nitrogen in the heat? A lot of grub control has no slow release fertilizer. That question is technical right there. But if you got grubs in your yard, you need to treat it before the problem starts to show itself. Look at the dates on the bag. Normally they give you hints, or you can use your location in Chat GPT and ask, because you may have grubs in certain places that spawn or whatever they do at a certain time. For stabilized fertilizer, I don't know if you're talking about slow release fertilizers, but I do like slow release fertilizers versus super fast fertilizers. All right, how do you get rid of frogs? I would Chat GPT that. I don't know that exact answer. If we stop for lawns plus crabgrass, good to use in summer under 85. Yes, it is. Would not necessarily go out there and blanket spray my entire yard still in the summertime. I would only kind of treat the areas that have those weeds, even though the temps are under 85. Now, if you do blanket spray the yard, just make sure you're not going to have 90+ degree weather creeping up on you in the next 3 or 4 days. Or really that week. All right, these folks, they was getting those questions in right there. All right, guys, last chance. If you want to send me another super chat, please do it at this time. How many? Let me see. Let's see here. I'm going to report this dude. Hold on, guys. I'm reporting the guy because sometimes, like I said, we get these things say help for review, and I had to read this stuff. Want to get a last super chat in, guys? Now's the time. If you haven't followed me on my Instagram channel, same channel name, Bermuda Grass Central, over on Instagram. We do have a paid Instagram account over there also, $4.99 a month. You get coaching and a lot more videos over there. If you want to do the in-person consultation, the prices start at $120, normally lasts an hour. The farther away you stay from me, the more it's going to cost. If you want to do a live, not live, what they call it, over the phone, or I can't even think of it, over the phone, virtual. That was at $120 and normally lasts an hour right there. All right, guys, so I appreciate it. Everybody's been respectful in the comments. We got a lot of people in here tonight. Couple of super chats, 112 likes. If you haven't liked this video, I need you to hit it now, guys. 81 people in the chat room. Hit the like button now, guys. Even after this goes live, hit the like button. Please hit the like button. I want 113 likes. Let's see if we can get 7 more before we get off here. I need 5 more likes. Give me 5 more likes, guys. I answered all your questions. I was polite. You were polite. We had a great time. I want to get to 120 likes. I need 5 more likes. 83 people in the comment. Uh-oh, 117. Almost there. Can I get I don't know how to do that. But 118, 2 more likes. If you're in this live stream, guys, and you hadn't hit the like button, hit it now. If you got any questions, you can ask them in the comments after we go unlive. I don't like to say that. After we send it up for upload, and I answer them then. I need 2 more people to hit the like button. Come on, there you go, 120, guys. You're tuned into Bermuda Grass Central with BYD. It's Michael Bowman. I'll talk to you soon.